Any abstentions? The ayes have it. Agenda item number 6, the public hearing variance request for West Care Associates LLC.
Is it work? There it is. Thank you. My name is Leanna Harris. I am a zoning administrator for the township, and I will be presenting the variance request for 6565 West Main Street. The applicant, Marty Hodges, on behalf of West Care Associates, is requesting a variance from the frontage requirements outlined in section 50.10 of the zoning ordinance to allow for a reduced frontage of 120 feet where the zoning ordinance requires 200 feet for commercially zoned parcels. This project is largely in cooperation with Kalamazoo Township to ensure that the proposed road extension does not constitute a taking or is confiscatory. The applicant's intent is to operate the southernmost portion of the property with the present non-conforming frontage from Seco Drive until the extension of Seco Drive can be installed, thus bringing the site into full compliance. The northernmost portion of the site will not require a variance since it already possesses sufficient frontage required by ordinance. 6565 West Main Street, outlined in red in the aerial map excerpt to the right of the screen, is in the northeast quadrant of the township, just southeast of the West Main Street and North 9th Street intersection. There are presently 2 access points with frontage to the site, 120 feet of frontage abutting Seco Drive, and approximately 661 feet of frontage abutting West Main Street. The entire property is approximately 18.5 acres in size and is presently zoned C Local Business District. The site currently has 2 buildings on the property, totaling approximately 69,500 square feet, with corresponding parking, site circulation, stormwater, etc. In the following slides and in my staff report, I will provide an analysis of the proposal. The Michigan courts have applied the principles shown on the screen for a dimensional variance, which collectively amount to demonstrating a practical difficulty. Staff has analyzed the request against these principles and offered the information in the staff report and on the following slides to the Zoning Board of Appeals. The first standard of review is unique physical circumstances. So are there unique physical limitations or conditions that prevent compliance? The property is currently developed and meets ordinance requirements for size and frontage from West Main Street. However, if the property were to be divided, then the property's frontage from Seco Drive for the southernmost area of the parcel would be 120 feet. If the property owner were to grant the township an easement for the road improvements, then the southernmost area of the parcel would be in compliance. Since the township is taking initiative and is proposing an easement for a public road to intersect the property, it could be argued that such is a physical circumstance. The second standard of review is conformance unnecessarily burdensome, or are there reasonable options for compliance available? It could be argued that that compliance would be unnecessarily burdensome, since without the variance, the property owner would be prevented from operating the southernmost building until Seco Drive is constructed eastward, which is when the southernmost area of the parcel would regain sufficient frontage and become conforming again. Access is presently occurring from this location from Seco Drive to the site. The third standard of review is the minimum necessary for substantial justice, which is applied to both the applicants as well as to other property owners in the district. In researching past Zoning Board of Appeals decisions regarding the request for relief from the road frontage requirements, Planning Department staff were unable to identify any similar cases, which is mainly attributed to the uniqueness of this request. This is an instance where the municipality is taking the initiative and is proposing an easement for road improvements to intersect the 18.5 acre property in efforts to extend a public roadway east. The few cases that staff identified were instances where a developer initiated the request to install a public road, but only in the interest of creating a residential subdivision project. The township is requesting that an easement for road improvements be placed in a location where it would burden the southernmost area of the parcel with respects to the reduced frontage. And although the precedents may not prove substantial justice, approving the variance would provide justice to the property owner by allowing them to continue the use of their property while the Seco Drive extension is being constructed and not allow the construction of the road to constitute a taking. The fourth standard is self-created hardship, so are the conditions or circumstances which resulted in the variance request created by the actions of the applicant. It could be argued that the conditions or circumstances which resulted in the variance request were not created by the actions of the applicant. Rather, it could be argued that the need for the variance was created from the cooperative nature of the applicant with the township in order to receive an easement for road improvements in efforts to construct the Seco Drive extension. The last standard of review is public safety and welfare. So will the variance requests negatively impact the health, safety, and welfare of others? An excerpt of the township's 2011 master plan, specifically the West Main sub-area plan, is shown on the right-hand side of the screen with the subject property outlined in purple with a purple arrow indicating the location. The full plan can be found starting on page 25 of the ZBA packet. This area of the West Main sub-area plan is crucial to the planning of the extension of Seco Drive with a proposed collector or road intersection through the subject property. In fact, if the variance was approved, the proposed road would not only significantly improve the health, safety, and welfare of adjacent properties, but enhance the entire community as well by providing new road networks and access. Additionally, any traffic created by the extension of Seco Drive would be well controlled with a traffic signal at the intersection of North 9th Street and Seco Drive. The motion from the Zoning Board of Appeals should include the findings of fact relevant to the requested variance. Based on the staff analysis, the following findings of fact are presented on this slide and the next. Support of variance approval includes the unique physical circumstances that prevent strict compliance with the zoning ordinance, as the township is requesting an easement to extend Seco Drive, which will ultimately bisect the applicant's property. Conformance to the ordinance is unnecessarily burdensome, as the amount of property that would be required to construct the Seco Drive extension would render the southernmost portion of the site essentially unusable by the property owner and could constitute a taking. Support of variance approval also includes that the proposed road would not only significantly improve the health, safety, and welfare of adjacent properties, but enhance the entire community as well by providing new road networks and access. And the conditions or circumstances which resulted in the variance request were not created by the actions of the applicant, but rather the cooperative actions of the applicant and the township that created the need for the variance. Support of variance denial includes substantial justice not being met due to no other similar cases being found due to the uniqueness of the request. With all of that being said, possible motions for the Zoning Board of Appeals to consider include: the Zoning Board of Appeals approves the variance request due to the unique physical circumstance. Conformance to the ordinance is unnecessarily burdensome. There would be no negative impact to the health, safety, or welfare of the public, and the conditions or circumstances which resulted in the variance request were not self-created. If the variance is approved, staff also recommends the Zoning Board of Appeals attach the following conditions: new building permits, if any, shall not be released until the Seco Drive project design is approved and accepted by the Road Commission of Kalamazoo County, and the necessary easement is granted to the township. And new building permits, if any, shall not be released until the land division application is submitted and approved. Alternatively, the Zoning Board of Appeals can deny the variance due to substantial justice not being met since no other cases were found. No other similar cases were found. Thank you for your time. I would be happy to answer any questions that the board may have. I'd also like to note that the applicant is here as well.
Thank you. $6565 West Main, that's Westside Medical, formerly known as Westside Medical Building, right?
Correct.
Okay. And was there a traffic signal would there be any electric signals or traffic signals installed right there at that portion, what we're talking about that's being requested?
I would defer to Jim or Colton, but I do know that at the intersection of Seco Drive and North 9th Street, there is a signalized intersection there.
Yeah, there won't be a need for an additional light, it'll just be an extension of Seco Drive as it is.
Okay.
The roundabout will come out, and then the road will simply be extended eastward.
Okay.
Is there a timeline on this road at this time?
Colton, could you possibly assist with that?
I mean, actually, no,
Go ahead.
either Colton and I, we've both been in contact with the Public Works Director, and this is one of the top priorities for the township, is to see this move forward as quickly as possible. So it will not be unduly delayed. I can't give you an exact timeline, but it
That's
is.
fine, but it's top priority, so it's something that's going to
we
happen
have-
in my lifetime, I hope.
Oh, well, I hope within a matter of months, we'll see some progress on it. We actually have developers looking at the land that's immediately east of this property, and they will need a second access to fully develop, so
Okay.
I
Thank you.
anticipate shortly.
I didn't, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Help me understand better how the construction of the road will bring it into compliance.
So actively, it has 120 feet of frontage, so actively, it's legally non-conforming. So when the road extension is constructed, then it will have 200 feet of frontage required by ordinance, if not more.
Yeah, I think the width of the parcel is, how wide? is the parcel?
661.
It'll have 600 feet of frontage once the road's done. You're dividing the north property from the south.
Right,
Once the road is constructed, then this property that you're giving a temporary, basically a temporary variance for, will have 3 times the road frontage that it's required to have.
so I think I don't understand why it has 120 now. Maybe that's the piece that I'm not fully getting.
Go back to where Seco Drive, you have a cul-de-sac, and there's
Right,
the property that,
we're talking from the end of that cul-de-sac.
the end of the cul-de-sac, there's 120 feet of, frontage, if you will, measured if you were to split the properties in half. The property to the south would have basically just the frontage coming off of Seco Drive, which it uses currently.
But then I still don't understand how constructing the road changes that.
Because it will have road frontage immediately to its north once the road's constructed.
What was the 3 times?
200 feet is what's required, and it'll have 600 and some feet of frontage.
So when the road is constructed right across, cutting this property in half,
Correct.
that will provide that with 600 feet from the building to the
600
road?
plus, yes.
Okay. Okay.
In that extension, I'm sorry, Rusty, are you finished with your?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So we got,
As I see it, that the Seco Drive to the west has only got 120 feet of frontage, but once the road goes in across the property, then they'll have the whole property frontage as Seco Drive.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and basically what,
Oh, we
what
have
your planning
frontage.
department is telling you is, we're requesting this road, but if we were to take the road and put it in, during that interim period, this property owner couldn't operate that southern building because he wouldn't have any road frontage. So you're granting a temporary variance until the road's constructed.
I really hope our public works director doesn't come back and watch this video. I was literally thinking, and I think Marty heard what I said, from the road to the building. I'm thinking in terms of like setbacks rather than frontage. And that was embarrassing. So, move along, Leanna, move along.
any other questions? There being none, okay. Is there a representative here? You say there's a representative here from West Care Associates.
Marty Hodges.
Mr. Hodges, would you care to approach the lectern?
Okay. You have some questions?
Do you have a statement? Did you have anything that you would like to say?
No, I support it as proposed. I think she did an outstanding job.
Okay.
Yeah, I've always had a thought of developing their own. I always thought that'd be a great thing, and when they came to me, it just sounds like a good long-term thing for Oshtemo, you know?
We do too. We do too.
Yeah. Yeah, the new supervisor approached me on this.
So, no, without anything further to add, that's fine. You can go ahead and we can close it out for any comments.
All
Thank
right.
you, Mr. Hodges.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Now the board will deliberate. No more comments.
Well, I'd like to move the zoning board of appeals approve the variance request due to the physical circumstances. I move that the zoning board of appeals approve the variance request due to the unique physical characteristics of this physical location. The conformance to the ordinance as it currently exists is unnecessarily burdensome on the owner. There would be no negative impact to the health, safety, and welfare of the public. On the contrary, it will benefit the health, safety, and welfare of the public. And the conditions and circumstances which resulted in this request for the variance were not created by, were not self-created. I'd also recommend that this variance be approved with recommendations being attached to it. Those recommendations being that no new building permits shall be released until the Seco Drive Drive project is approved and accepted by the County Road Commission, and the necessary easement is given to the township for construction of the road. Also, as a second condition, that any building permits be held until such time that a land division application is submitted to the township and approved. Wow.
I support that motion.
There's a motion on the floor to move forward. And also second, who seconded that? And also seconded. All in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Any abstentions? The ayes have it. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, gentlemen. Other updates in business. Agenda item number 7.
We will be having our new planning director begin later this week. So her name is Jody Staforia, and she's going to be a wonderful addition to this team. So that's the only update I have, though.
Question. We also have a new minutes taker. Will that person be coming to our meetings or?
I believe the next one, Dusty.
okay.
Yep.
So how are these minutes from this meeting? We're just gonna go
I think they're going to be drafted based on the
the
recording.
recording?
Yes.
Good enough for me. Any other updates in business? Ms. Gould?
Is it possible to get this packet before we come in to this meeting room?
Yes.
It's email.
Yeah.
They're
so-
submitted electronically, right? By email?
Yeah, it should have been sent to you on Friday, Fred, via email.
I get the email, but I do not have a printer that's working at home yet.
Sure. Yeah, if you contact me or, front desk staff, we'd be happy to print you off a copy on Monday or day of. So we'd be happy to arrange that in the future.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other updates or business? Okay, so I'll move that this meeting be adjourned. Support. All in favor, aye. Any nays, any abstentions? Meeting adjourned at 3:25 PM. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
They used to hear it even 10 years ago, we did.
And the police department will bring it. And every time they pull
Great
in
use of
front of my
resources.
house, they pull in front of my house and all the neighbors are looking. What did you do? What this one?
That's a wild use of resources.